Now, I want to transition a little bit for a few minutes to talk about this part of our church life that represents our resources. It's a part of church life, and if you're a visitor, it's kind of like a family conversation, so apologize. We're going to kind of circle around the coffee table here for a little bit and just kind of talk about this, and then we'll kind of move back into singing and teaching. But if you would take out this colorful, very colorful insert in your bulletin, that would be helpful. It kind of represents our resources. And we talk about our resources here at Journey with this tagline, radiate. Radiate God's light and generosity. And the reason we do that is because we believe that all of life is a response to the ways that God has already been generous to us. That God has been extremely generous to us, and we just get to share that. And this is what Jesus says in Matthew 5. You, church, like the disciples of Jesus, you are the light of the world. You're like a city that's on a hilltop that can't be hidden. And Jesus would say to us, now that I've put you there on that hilltop, on a light stand, shine, keep open house, be generous with your lives. And by opening up to others, you will prompt people to open up to God, this generous Father in heaven. And so there's this, Jesus would say, like, as you open up, as we as a church open up our lives and live generously, it'll prompt people to open up and receive God's generosity in their lives. So Radiate holds together three different components of our church resources. One is our financial ministry plan. And that's like the everyday, every week things that we do to make disciples. It also represents the projects, these future projects to take care of our facilities. And it also represents debt, paying down debt that's left from the Ignite initiative. So real quick, kind of move through each of these three. This insert is a breakdown, back one slide, is a breakdown of a way of saying, like, so where does a dollar go? As we project to next year, this is kind of the breakdown that the ministry team leaders have put together to say, like, every dollar, like, gets broken up between Journey Youth, Journey Kids, Worship, Connect, Grow, and Serve. And these resources are sort of allocated in these areas. And so you can kind of see how that pie chart breaks out. And there's been a lot of work that's gone into this through people who are leading ministries in the church, volunteers, and then working together with the staff to shape this. But then it gets handed to you as a congregation to pray for, to pray about it. If you would like to know more, like, about these, you're like, I'd like to have more numbers and crunch, like, individual numbers. There is a sheet at the Connection Center that has, like, the breakdown of each of these areas that you can take, you can look at, and then you can come and ask questions on Sunday, November 4th. So that is the Sunday of time change, just to go ahead and put that on your calendars. We will have a representative from our resource team here at the Connection Center to be able to answer any questions you have, or at least hear the questions you have about this financial ministry plan. But this is how we as a church work together to make disciples of Jesus through these resources. And one of the cool things is we're celebrating some baptisms coming up here. There was a Next Steps class, and a few people in that Next Steps class are being baptized, planning to be baptized. We have some students that have just gone through a baptism class. And it's directly connected through these ministries of the church that you are generously a part of. So thank you for that. Above and beyond our financial ministry plan is our debt reduction. We've had a goal to raise $200,000 in 2018 to reduce our debt. And here, you will see on the screen behind me, so far $124,800 has come in, and that's 62% of our goal, and we have about 2 months left in the year. So if God prompts you to give toward that debt, we'd love to have you do that. But it's been wonderful. This represents the sacrifices of so many people to be able to do that. The blue line below it represents the projects. These projects of helping to maintain our facilities so that we can be generous with them and open-handed with them, welcome people. So far this year, $33,000 has been given to projects so far in 2018. Now, as Radiate, this is something brand new here in 2018. As we started Radiate, the whole goal was to just open it up for people, for individuals, families, to respond to how God might be prompting them to be generous. to give some freedom and some options that you can give to debt or you can give to projects. And one of the cool things we get to celebrate today is we're just responding to some amazing generosity in the life of the church. One of the Radiate goals, like one of the maintenance issues that we've been talking about is these lights up here. Go ahead and take a look straight up at these. Don't look at the lights, sorry. You'll be blinded. That's the last thing you see this morning. These lights, they are lovely. They have served us incredibly well over the last 40 years. And they're incredibly inefficient. One of those bulbs, I was going to try to have one with me, but I wasn't able to make it back to the closet to get one. It's a 750 watt bulb that's like in those chandeliers, and then there are places for 6 other sort of 100 watt bulbs in those. So every one of those represents a furnace, like a little oven hanging from the ceiling. And so they're incredibly hot. And so one of the things that happens on a day like today when it's like 50 degrees outside, we start first service, which is where most of the older people tend to attend first service. And we start that service at 65 degrees. So there are lots of cardigans being worn in first service. We started at 65 degrees because by the end of first service with these lights on, it's 72 degrees, and we have to turn the air conditioner on. So right now, we're running the air conditioner just to keep it cool in here because there's so much heat coming from these lights. And so we don't think that's a great use of our resources, great use of electricity or air conditioners to do that. So one of the projects has been to replace these with LED, like energy-efficient lighting that would give us more light, give us more control, and more energy efficiency. And we have a team of people that are kind of like, they've been working behind the scenes to just think, what do we need? Have gotten some quotes, have put together a cost, and that cost it's an estimate, but that cost is about $24,000 to replace these with energy-efficient LED lights. Now, here's the thing that has bumped this up on the list, is that we've had somebody in these conversations say, I'd like to give about half of the cost to go ahead and get this moved forward. And would like to just sort of present that. This person just said, I'd like to present it, and I'd like to give about half of the cost, and to just present it to the church and say, are there others who would join me in this, to raise the remainder of this $24,000 to fix these lights. So, want to present that to you. If you would like to be a part of that, you can give on this Radiate envelope. All you do is select projects. So you can do this online as well, and any resources given designated to projects will go toward this. And then one other quick thing to just celebrate at the McPherson campus is they had had generous donor say would actually give $20,000 to buy materials to finish a couple of classrooms for adults to meet in. We have adults who are leaving the building at McPherson, going across the street, meeting in a rented space across the street, so kind of leaving their kids in this building and going over here, and it just isn't working well. And somebody has seen that need and said, I would give $20,000 to buy the materials if we could raise volunteer hours to put those rooms together. And so, again, just like responding to incredible generosity. And if you're like me, you're like, that's crazy. I don't have even close to the capacity to do things like this. And that's okay, because the church is a family, and we're not called to do anything more than what God is asking us to do and what God has put in our grasp. And so these people are responding to that. And so if you are interested in helping put those rooms together, there'll be some volunteer hours in the next few weeks to help do that. So I just it's pretty cool to celebrate God's generosity through the life of his people.